Okay everybody, this is Slicey Dicey with another knife video for you. This is Brian with my stuff. This is part 2 of the update of my collection. My collection is fairly stable right now, so it's time to do this. After Blade Show, I'm sure there's going to be some stuff I want to get, but that's going to be down the line, and then I've got some pre-orders coming in. But other than that, this is pretty stable. This is my stuff that I'm pretty sure ain't going to be going anywhere anytime soon. So we're gonna go, this is part 2. This is my 30 knife Spidey pack. I have 2. I have a big one and a small one. And then I've got another little one that's cheap stuff that I won't even bother showing you, that it's just stuff that I just keep around because I keep around. But these are the knives that I actually use and carry a fair amount, enough at least to hold on to. I love these Spidey packs because they have the clear plastic. I like being able to see the knife. It's one of the things I like about them a lot. And I usually clip them in like this, use the pocket clips because I'm often unrolling this on my lap, and if you don't, they just fall out everywhere, and that's annoying. And it makes loud noises when they hit the floor, and it bothers my wife. So I use the pocket clips on mine. To each his own, but I use the pocket clips. It's one of the things I like the most about the Spidey packs. I've looked at a lot of other packs. I still like these a lot. Again, this is the 31. I've got the 18 one. I'll put some Amazon links down below where you can buy them. They're great, and yeah, if you do, I'll try and use, I do have an Amazon promoter code. I never put on anything, so maybe I'll get a couple bucks back if you do, but I highly recommend the Spidey pack. Let's get on with the knives, though, because this is going to take a while. This is not all of my stuff. Again, I have the small Spidey pack. If you're like, where are the Spydercos? Where are the Benchmades? Where are the Wies? Where, I know you got them. You know, where is the Kaisers? I know you got them. They're in the other pack, so that'll be part 3, because this is going to take a while. First up, I do have these organized in some kind of thing. I put the ones I have like a lot of first, and from one brand. I organize them by brand, sort of, and then we go down through that. And then at the bottom, there's some onesie-twosies. So they're not in order of price or anything like that, because there's some cheap ones on top and some real expensive ones on the bottom. So stick with it. I will try and put timestamps to the individual brands, so if you guys don't care about one particular brand, you can skip ahead. I'm just going to give a little brief description of each knife as I go along. I've done reviews of most of these. I will try and link to them down below, but that's going to be a whole lot of links. So it's going to be a lengthy notes on this one. First up, we have my ZTO 609, which is one of my very favorite knives. I apologize if the camera moves just a little bit each time I pull a knife out. This is not my usual setup. This is too big. I had to do it on my kitchen table, so using a different tripod. But this is the ZTO 609. I love this thing. I actually, for once, when I bought this, really researched and really thought, and didn't just impulse buy on Blade HQ one night at 1 o'clock in the morning when I came back from a gig a bit tipsy. I actually really chose this one. I love the 0609. It's a great knife. RJ Martin design. I've done a full review on it. Just a beautiful, beautiful knife. One modification I made to this, which I highly recommend if you are an 0609 owner, whether it's this one or they make, this is the 20 CV bronze, the regular one. They're doing a sprint in all blacked out with S35. No matter which one you get this MXG gear deep carry pocket clip. The standard clip isn't that bad. It's fine. It doesn't ride that high or anything. But I was, especially on the bronze one, I was amazed. It actually matches perfectly. It looks fantastic. I saw it on Dr. Frunky's Instagram, and I was like, wow, that matches. Anodization's really hard to get to match, but MXG gear nailed it. And this thing is just pretty. It makes the knife look so much better. Not that it was ugly before, but it just looks great. I do carry this one a whole lot. This is often in my EDC update videos. It wasn't this past one because I was in a country where I couldn't legally carry it, but I do carry it a lot. As you can see, it has a scratch on it, which I'm very sad about. I actually dropped it onto another knife it was sitting on my desk, and I knocked it off my desk onto another knife that was sitting on the floor. Knife YouTuber problems, but I do have a little scratch on it, but I don't care because I'm never getting rid of this thing. Great. As I said, 20 CV, awesome action, great size for EDC, just a great little knife. This is one of my favorites. Next up, we have another one of my favorites. This is the Kershaw Dividend in M390. Highly recommend this, guys. If you are a knife nerd and one of these becomes available, they're only available in like bursts, but this, I call it the black version, the black series, whatever you want to call it. That's not what they call it. That's just what I refer it to. Kershaw has done a lot of their USA knives in this black aluminum handles with M390, and I think this is the best. I love the Dividend anyway, and M390, I love it even more. It's a great knife. When they're available, they're like 80 bucks. They've done it twice already. I know they'll do it again. I've actually spoken to Kershaw, so they said that they were going to do it again. So it's my only speed safe, my only assisted knife that I actually own and keep. All these knives here are ones that these are mine, and I really like this. This winds up in the EDC updates a whole lot too, because sometimes I forget that I have it, and then as soon as I remember, I stick it in my pocket. And I stopped carrying it for a while because I didn't think they were going to make them ever again, and I was worried about dinging it up, but then they made another run, so it's been getting carried a lot more. This is the Kershaw. This is not the clip it came with, but it is just one that you can call Kershaw and ask nicely for. Or ask rudely for. I don't know. I haven't tried that approach. But if you just call them and ask them, or email them and ask them, they'll send you a free deep carry clip. The other clip is not deep carry. They make an S35 version too on a couple of websites that's pretty great. Next up, the Kershaw Atmos. This is a knife that I love and am horribly disappointed by at the same time. I love it because it's light. It's nice looking. It's a Sienkiewicz design. For the size of it, it's a pretty small knife, but it fits in my hand pretty well. I love so many things about this knife, and then they went and put HCR13 MOV on it with a cat hair. Just wah wah. That's the official sound of HCR13 on this channel from now on. Anytime I say HCR13, I'm going to make that noise. It's such a great knife, and then they just let it down with that steel. But I still carry it a lot, so I still have it. I don't carry it a lot, but I carry it fairly often because it's so light. It's one of my 3 lightest little knives. This and my Bug Out and my Native 5 Lightweight, which you'll see when we get to the other case, are when I go play tennis and stuff, wearing tennis shorts. It's one of these 3 that I grab, whichever one is handy. But it's HCR13, so it's not great steel. Next up, another HCR13. This is the Kershaw Skyline XL. I'm not sure why I still have this. I guess it's just too cheap to sell. They only retail for like 40 bucks, and by the time shipping and all that, maybe someday I'll sell it, put it in with a package deal or something, but I do use it occasionally. I love the Skyline. I don't actually own the USA-made Skyline. This one was made only by Blade HQ. It's the only place you can get it in the XL version, the larger blade. But this is, yeah, for some reason, instead of doing USA Skyline like everybody else, they decided to do China for the XL with HCR13 MOV again, wah, wah. But it is very comfortable in the hand. It is a good kind of beater knife. I thought I'd keep it and use it as a beater, but you know what, I have better beaters. But it's still just not really worth selling, and it's kind of, you know, it's a Blade HQ exclusive, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure why I still have this, but yet here it is. I love the Skyline design. It is very comfortable in the hand. I need to get off my butt and get a regular Skyline someday. If anybody has a Skyline in really good shape they want to sell used, let me know. Don't really want to pay new prices for one. Next up, this is an HCR13 also, wah wah, but I like this knife a lot, so I almost forgive it on this one. This is the Kershaw Emerson CQC6. I think I got this for $20. One of those Blade HQ blowout things. Sometimes you can get these for ridiculously good prices. And if you can, if you see one, get one. They're fun. They got the little Emerson wave thing. It pulls out of your pocket, it opens. It's cool. And it's 20 bucks. And this may be HCR13, but that's a good looking blade. Stonewash on the blade. You got these nice machine finishes here. You got the Emerson design stuff. You got the Emerson logo on the pocket clip. It barely even says Kershaw on it. Just on there. That's the only place it says it. And it's just a fun knife. It's just a fun toy. And again, I paid 20 bucks for it. I'm never getting rid of this thing. And whips right out of the pocket. I really like it. That thumb disc and all that stuff. And honestly, I've had a real Emerson before. You don't see it in this collection update because I didn't think that the quality was very great on it. I think this is fit and finish is better than the real Emerson that I owned. It was a 2 years ago Emerson. So maybe they've gotten better, but the one that I had was not great. And this one is great. The quality is really good. Next up, we get into another brand, Steel Will. The M390 Cut Jack. This is the regular 3.5-inch version. I guess I can't call it the large version. And I'm sorry about the camera shaking momentarily whenever I take a knife out. This is the Italian-made version. Love this knife. Love it, love it, love it. Love it so much that I actually ordered some nice micarta scales for it from Shepherd CC. I got those scales in. They're not on it because this knife has to go back to Steel Will because, is it these two? Yeah, these two screws are stucker than stuck. I stripped one out. It's just, I tried heat, I tried the soldering iron, I tried all those tricks. Not coming out. I don't know what they did. Steel Will, emailed them, was totally honest. Maybe they know I'm a YouTuber. They've sent me lots of stuff to review. Maybe it's just because it's me, but they didn't care that I was trying to modify it. They said, we'll fix it. We'll get the screws out and replace them, or replace the knife or whatever. I have to get off my butt and send this back in. I have not done that yet, but they told me to, so this is going to go away for a while. I'm probably going to send it out tomorrow, actually, and then when you see it again, it will have nice micarta scales on it that are very, very pretty. And I hope they don't replace the whole knife, because I want to do a long-term update on this, because I've had this knife for quite a while. If they send me a whole new one, it's kind of hard to do a long-term update, but hoping they just fix it. But anyway, it's still a great knife. Yeah, a couple of stuck screws, but I never would have known if I wasn't trying to change the scales. They aren't screws that you have to remove to actually service the knife. They're screws that stay in there when you're actually servicing it. But God, it's just so fall shutty and perfect. I love it. It's just so ergonomic. This is one of my favorite knives. Why I went and put the if I put aftermarket scales on a knife, that means I really like it, because I'm not usually into aftermarket stuff. Next up, another steel wheel that is working its way into my cold heart. This is the Resonant. This is the carbon fiber titanium frame lock version, D2 steel. They also make an aluminum version, same blade and everything. Those nice, I refer to as brilliant blue. I don't know what color Steel Will calls it, but you're allowed to steal that, guys, if you want to. I know you watch my videos. Just the blue that they anodize stuff is the bluest blue in the history of blue, and I really like it. But I love this knife. Just nice, gentlemanly carbon fiber titanium. 85 bucks. This is a whole lot of knife for 85 bucks. Doesn't run on, this is China made, but it's the best Chinese steel wheel. Doesn't run on washers, or doesn't run on ball bearings, just runs on washers, but it still closes pretty good. This is pretty well broken in. This one's actually going off to Stasa 23 to get reviewed, so I will be without it for a while. So I will miss the, This is a really cool knife. Just slim, light, classy looking. A lot of bang for the buck. Next up, this is, I'm going to call this my champion, even though I don't actually carry this very much. This is the Steel Will Modus, again, the brilliant blue. You can almost hear it. Listen. So you can hear the blue. It's a very cool knife. I don't carry it a whole lot. It's a 3 1/4 inch blade. I don't know why I don't carry it a lot. I don't mean to not carry it a lot. It's got a lot of knives. But this is like 4-0 in battles to the death. Every time I put it up against something, it wins. I don't know why I don't carry it as much. But great knife, and it's undefeated. It's got one more coming up next week. We'll see how it goes. I actually haven't scored it yet, so I'm not sure. I'll just tell you, it's going up against the Tangram Pinkerton Progression, so that's going to be a close one, because I love the Pinkerton Progression too also, so we will see. Very cool knife. Just one that just doesn't find its way to my pocket a whole lot, but I'm not going to get rid of it because it's such a good comparison knife. Next up, this one actually does find its way to my pocket a fair amount. We have another Steel Will China D2 model. This is the Cut Jack Mini, the 3-inch version. This one was one of the very, very first ones. I mean, like, I called around scrambling, trying to get it, like, right when I first started the channel. So this was, I got this really early. And actually, I think I did have one of the first reviews of it up, which I thought was quite a coup for a new person. But anywho, really nice knife. Mine did have a few little quality issues with it, but I think that was just first run problems. I haven't heard anybody else have them. I had a bushing that was a bit burry. I had to sand down, which that's not at all uncommon, but also there was like a piece of FRN that was just floating around in the pivot. But got it all fixed. It took me 15-20 minutes to fix it. It's perfectly fine. The knife's been great ever since. And again, it's got the great ergonomics of that cut jack design. Smaller than the one you saw up here, but still great ergonomics. Just a great little small user knife. Kind of one of the little big knives, you know? Really like it. Lastly, in the Steel Will train, it sounds like a 70s band, we have the Intrigue. Nice little sticky kind of blade. I really do like this knife a lot. This is the Mini, again with the brilliant blue. Great knife. It's also 2-0 in comparison tests. Steel Will does really good in these little battles to the death, I have to say. D2 steel, it knocked off the Delica 4 and the Atmos, so it's 2-0 so far. I'll try to remember to link to those down below, but again, there's going to be a whole lot of links, so we will see. Great little knife. When I get it's going to be coming out in the Italian M390 treatment. When that comes out, I will get the bigger one. I guess it's kind of my modus operandi with steel willows. I get the bigger ones and the fancy version and the cheaper ones and the China version. Next up, 2 cold steels. I have 3, but you saw, slide this up a bit, you saw the other one. I have a lucky one that was in my traditionals and modern traditionals thing. We have the Cold Steel Recon 1. This is just a cool knife. This is XHP. They've gone to S35VN now. Snapped this up on Massdrop because I saw the XHP was going away and Massdrop had them for cheap. I think this was $70 or something like that. I like the brown handles on it. Very cool knife. It's my only tactical folder, and I don't feel a need to get another one. So I guess that says good things about it. I just like this a whole lot. I do need to get off my butt and sand underneath this. Baz on Blades has a nice little video about how to do that and tape it off and just sand that one little part where the pocket clip touches, makes it coming out of the pocket a lot easier. Do need to get off my butt and do that. But great knife, especially at the price I got it at. Next up is probably the most famous knife on my channel. This is your Cold Steel American Lawman. Again, XHP. Again, they make them now in S35VN. Both of these knives I'll never get rid of because they're the XHP. I just think there's nothing wrong with S35VN, but I think the XHP really fits the Cold Steel purpose better. These are both heavy-duty knives. I actually got this knife just to compare it to a Manix 2XL. Again, I got it on sale somewhere. I intended on getting it, doing the comparison, and getting rid of it. It's still here. Spoiler alert, the Manix, not the Manix 2XL, I'm sorry. The Manix 2 Backlock is what I wanted to compare it against. But spoiler, this is still here. The Manix 2 Backlock is not. I sold it. Traded it, actually. So, yeah, this is just cool. I just like this. It's thin, it's light, very comfortable in the hand. Nice hollow ground, super slicey blade. And you can't get it in XHP anymore, so I'll never let go of it. And even if I did, it's not an expensive knife. I'm more likely to sell an expensive knife than a cheap knife because you can make more money back. Next up, the Ontarios. I'm a knife YouTuber. You gotta have Ontarios, right? So we have an Ontario Rat Model 1 and 2 R2D2s. Go through these pretty quick. This I've not done a review of. People ask, why have you not reviewed your Rat Model 1 and D2? A, because everybody else has, and B, it would be about 3 minutes long. It would just say, yep, it's a great knife. It's just great. I don't have anything to complain about it with at all. I'm thinking about using it for a couple of comparison videos that I have in my mind, but we'll see. D2 steel, high quality, plastic handles, which isn't awesome. But other than that, it's comfortable. It works great. Action's good. It's, what, 40, 45 bucks. Nothing. It's great. And then I have 2 R2D2s. We'll do these together just for the expediency's sake, because we're already going on 18 minutes. We have the carbon fiber, which is barely carbon fiber, and again, these are budget knives, and the FRN version. This one doesn't get used a whole lot. This one gets used quite a bit. Just great little D2 knives, and they're just a smaller version of that. Ergonomics are still good. Same things I said about that apply to these. So that is it for this half of the case. We're going to flip over and do the bottom half. All right, here we go. Let's keep the train rolling. First up, we have some CRKTs. One that is not in this case, but it does reside in my EDC pack. This is actually one of the first, or the first really nice knife I bought myself. My first really nice knife I had, other than like Swiss Army knives and stuff, was Benchmade 9050 that you'll see when I get to the other pack. It's probably going to be in another video because we're already running long. But this is the first one I bought myself. This is the CRKT M16 13 SFG. It has the 2-stage lock. It looks like they're going away from that, but I like it. I don't mind the 2-stage lock. It's fine. It does have VEF serrations. This is before I knew that I did not care for serrations. But this is a great knife to have in my EDC pack, because if you're going to have one knife on you and that's it, which that might happen with my EDC pack, it's nice to have the serrations. They are useful for some things, so that's good. Tonto blades, which I don't like much anymore either. But it's a cool, still, it has a special place in my heart. It's the first nice knife I bought myself. I think I bought it at like a Field and Stream or something. But cool knife. It just, like I said, mostly resides in that EDC pack. Now, I do have it set up in the douchebag way, the tip down. You can wave it. You gotta kind of finagle it. It doesn't do it that well, but it will Emerson wave if you have it set up like this. CRKT says very specifically not to do that, by the way. But that's what I do because it's cool. But don't put the clip there if you don't want me to do it. That's what I say. Next up, another CRKT M16. This is a big one. This is the... oh, that didn't flip out very well at all, did it? This is the M16 14 ZSF. Another Kit Carson design, another partially serrated. I really only have this because I was proud of myself. I got this at a pawn shop for $5 in horrible shape. And I kind of taught myself how to work on knives with this knife. I dipped it in vinegar and stuff and got rid of a bunch of corrosion that was on it. There's still a little bit there. But yeah, I tore it all apart. I had to order some spare parts from CRKT, which they sent me for free with no questions asked. Replaced all the screws. Replaced this secondary lock here and stuff on it. They had everything in stock. They were super easy to deal with. And I was just proud of myself that I managed to actually resurrect this thing from really the dead. It had a huge chip in the blade. This isn't exactly a mirror edge or anything like that, or even particularly even, but I at least got it back. I'm better at sharpening now, so I think I will probably redo this, get it back to a more even edge, because that's pretty horrid. Now that I look at it, I haven't even touched this thing in months. But at least I resurrected it, and it's a usable knife again now. My next CRKT, this is one that I do really like a lot. This is the Havas, or Voss. The Voss, I guess. This is a Jesper Voxnaes design. He's one of my favorite knife designers. This is my second one. My first one had some problems with the bushings. You can see that in another video. And they sent me a new one. I have not carried this much since I got the new one because I've just been reviewing other stuff, but deep carry pocket clip. It's got the field strip technology. You can take it apart with no tools in about 15 seconds. Really cool knife. Really do like it. Not the best blade steel in the world, but not bad. I think it's 12C27 if I remember correctly. Not too bad. Like that knife a whole lot. Next up, another CRKT. This is the Pilar, another Jesper Voxnaes design. Again, a great knife let down by the blade steel. This is a stainless steel frame lock with wah-wah HCR on it. But really awesome design. So good that I almost don't mind. But there is a Blade HQ carbon fiber one with 12C27, I think, on it. I will be jumping all over that sucker. And I'll probably use this for a giveaway or something. But a very, very cool knife. Very awesome design. Just wish the steel was better. Next up, speaking of steel, we have two real steels. We have, first of all, the Metamorph. One of my favorites. Just so much fun to play with. Nice front flipper, ball bearings, super smooth, large gentleman sort of design. I've talked about this knife a whole lot. I really do like it a lot. Next up, the H5 Gerfalcon. This is one that I sometimes just forget about, and then every time I pull it back out, I'm like, why don't you carry this more often, Brian? You really should. Runs on bearings. It's not completely, as you saw, it's not the flippiest thing in the world, but it's not bad. It does fall shut very easy. Just a nice looking knife, super ergonomic, and they're very cheap. It works better with the thumb studs, actually. Just really nice knife. I don't know why I don't carry it more often. I did carry it one day this week anyway. I know I did. Just cool. I actually carried it with the Pilar. I decided to be cheap that day and carry two cheap knives with me. I usually carry two, but very nice knife. Highly recommend the H5 Gerfalcon. Very cool knife. I think they're like 50 bucks, if that, something like that. Next up, we're getting into our rakes. One of my favorite budget knives of all time. Your Rake P801 SF. Really love this thing. Just a great little small, kind of gentlemanly folder. They also make it in an all like black stonewash version, black wash version, which is pretty cool. This is the original version and just the steel. And I wish this pocket clip wasn't blue. Other than that, I have no complaints about this knife. Love the blade shape. 14C28N. Good steel. Nothing to complain about. Next up, two newer rakes. We have, this is the, I gotta remember that they don't put names on them, so it's hard to remember. The P865-B. Really cool, again, in the same kind of vein as the Metamorph. Largish, gentlemanly sort of knife. It's got a nice little Warncliffey blade on it. Pretty cool. We're doing a full review on this, so I'm not going to say too much more about it because I don't want to spoil that review. I love lots of things about it. One thing I truly hate about it. Next up, we have the Rake. I don't remember which one this one is. Again, no names. P848-B. This is a very unique knife. As you saw, it's a two-hand open. It's got a nail neck, but it also runs on bearings, so it's super smooth. It's got a nail neck, which is kind of cool because it does fit some European regulations. I know Germany that I just was in, you can have one hand open, locking, but not both. You can't have both at the same time. So this is kind of cool that it does have one hand open, but it runs on really nice smooth bearings, and it's got a liner lock and stuff. Kind of neat. Now, the last few are a bit more pricey than those. Again, I didn't do this in order of price, so these are just coming to onesie twosies. Next up, we have my Three Rivers Manufacturing Viator. This is not the configuration I normally keep it in, honestly. I was using it for a comparison review, so I've got the G10 scales on it. But this is designed to be customizable. I have 3 sets of scales for it. I got the carbon fiber, I got the micarta, and I have a titanium backstrap instead of this G10. This is the translucent jade G10. I normally keep it with the micarta and the titanium, but love this knife. Slip joint, very stiff slip joint, which I like, and it's so slicey. This is probably the sliceyest blade of anything I have. Have it in it's CPM 154. Great knife, and in this configuration, like it sits in my hand, in a million different G10 colors, not just this jade. 140 bucks. And then if you totally option the thing out with all the crazy stuff you can do, if you get the carbon fiber and the titanium and all that stuff, it's still only like 180, 185, something like that. They're pretty reasonable. Next up, let the camera stabilize a second. Fairly new addition, but one that I love. Ferrum Forge Mass Drop Gent, which is a great knife. This is just a great knife. S35VN. There's a reason why you see these on the channels all the time. This is almost becoming like you know, all YouTubers have a PM2 and a Ontario Rat of one kind or the other. This is getting up there. A lot of us have these too. Very, very nice knife. Titanium frame lock, runs on bearings, super smooth. Now, next up we have, this is one I have not done a review of yet. I will be shortly, but this is the Tuya knife Thorax. I'm really liking what Tuya knife's doing right now. I'm picking up what they're putting down, if you know what I mean. Very cool knife. Titanium frame lock, S35VN, ball bearings, super smooth, and 145 bucks. So, and the U.S. representation, you don't have to deal with China if you got to send it back. This is a nice, sleek design. Again, I got it in the most boring configuration because I am me. You can see a theme here that I get boring knives, but I think boring is good. I prefer to say I get the mature choice. But anywho, great knife. This one's going to be a keeper for sure. It does carry awfully high. That's the only thing I don't like about it. But I do love everything else about it. Just a great value knife. Now these next two Best Techs, are not mine, but I'm going to have them shortly. So I'm adding them in here just because I'm doing the video. These are for pass-arounds, but I've already ordered one, and I'm after the pass-around's over, I'm probably going to buy one of these. So this is the Best Tech Goblin. Love this little bastard. I don't know other words to use it. That's the only thing to describe it. It's just a little bastard, but it's great. It's just a nice short little knife, titanium frame lock, runs on bearings. It's just so smooth, and it's just cool. I don't care who you are. I had no desire to have this thing at all from pictures, and then it came in the pass-around. I was like, within 5 minutes, I'm like, oh, nope, gotta have one of these. This is just cool. Again, kind of Warncliffe style blade. Very short little knife, but just a great knife. And next up, this is one that I've already ordered this, so I'm officially getting one of these. This is the Best Tech Paladin. Just did a review on this yesterday. Great knife, and I think it's a really good kind of benchmark knife to have around for these G10 D2 Chinese flippers. There's going to be a bunch of them coming out. This is the best one I've handled so far, so I want to have one to use as kind of a benchmark against the others. Pretty big knife, but not too terribly heavy. Very ergonomic, very comfortable, and that fantastic Best Tech action. All right, so that is the end of this case, and I think we're going to stop there. And then probably in a couple of days, we will do the other case that has the Spydercos and the Benchmades and the Wies and the Kaisers in it. So hope you guys have enjoyed this. Part 2 of 3. I've been Brian. Have a good one.